My name is Raphael Wallfisch and I'm a cellist. I'm at the home of Gerald Finzi, one of the greatest British composers. I'm going to be talking about his music, his family, his circle, his life, and in particular, what is actually my favourite cello concerto, that by Gerald Finzi, written in 1955. Well, here I am, sitting in Gerald Finzi's study in Church Farm, which was his house from 1939 to 1956 when he died. It has a most fantastic view from the window, and one can imagine him sitting here being incredibly inspired by this very view. Beautiful 13th century church, St. James's in Ashmansworth. It's actually just a few steps from Church Farm, practically the Finzi's private chapel. It's a very special thing to be in a space where such great genius has been, and so much music was made here by Finzi and his Newbury string players. It was such an essential part of his life. Finzi's music sounds so English because really it comes from the lineage of Elgar, Parry, and in particular Vaughan Williams. Finzi's cello concerto was commissioned in 1955 by Sir John Barbaroli for the Cheltenham Festival. At that time, Gerald Finzi already knew that he had between 5 and 10 years to live at the most, because he had been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. There was no cure for that at all. So there was the pressure of time on him. The shortness of life was always a theme in his mind, having had his childhood experiences of loss. It so happened that various events occurred that curtailed his life just after the concerto. So there is a fury, there is a desperation, but there's also a resignation in the piece, which I find totally overpowering and wonderful. It's certainly, I think, the greatest of all the British cello concertos. After the first performances of the piece that Christopher Bunting gave at the Royal Festival Hall, at the Proms, at the Cheltenham Festival, the piece was buried. It wasn't until the early 80s, when Yo-Yo Ma was invited to record the piece for Lyrita, that people became aware of the work again. I can remember the incredible tingles going up and down my spine as I heard that music, and it still has that effect on me. Very soon after that, I played it for the first time, and I never looked back. Finzi pushes the cellist to the utmost virtuosity. I hope that this piece will be taken up by many, many of the young, brilliant cellists that there are in the world now. I think it's a gift to all of us. The first movement of Finzi's concerto to be completed, several years before the rest, was the slow movement. Some believe that this sublime music of incredible tranquility, hymn-like quality, is a portrait of his wonderful wife, Joy. I was privileged to meet her when I played the concerto first, also in the 80s. She was always present. And when I recorded the piece with the Liverpool Philharmonic and Vernon Handley, she was the one person sitting in Liverpool Philharmonic Hall to whom I was playing, which is, it was an unforgettable experience, and I was truly inspired to know her. There were several poets that Gerald Finzi loved, but in particular Thomas Hardy played a large part in Finzi's inspiration. It's very apt that in the porch of St. James's Church in Ashmansworth, there is an engraved window by Lawrence Whistler, which is a celebration of British composers with their initials and the roots of a tree and Hardy's poem. The more I learn about Gerald Finzi's life, the more I feel I understand why, on some level, I feel great affinity to him and his music.